We what you call a mumble rapper. Just yeah. So you say yeah after everything and make it wrong. It don't matter what it is. And for real, you can say anything. I just went to the store. Yeah. For the love. Yeah. Hey. Back to the stuff. What? Yeah, you feel me? It's just lit. That's all. It's all about being lit.
You feel me?
Yeah, so it's always gonna be something new. When a person decides to be themselves, they'll offer something no one else can be.
Yeah, because once you be you, who can be you but you?
Right.
That's what's wrong right now. Everybody trying to rap the same style with the, I don't know who created it, if it was Future or Migos, but all them niggas sound the same.
Ever wondered what happens when the pioneers who built hip-hop finally run into the newcomers who treat rap like a viral video shortcut? Picture a festival stage cracking under hometown tension, a billionaire mogul batting away clout chasers on date night, and a pair of tattoo-covered twins threatening the very Uncle Snoop who taught half the globe to say, faux shizzle. This is the unfiltered collision course between respect and relevance, and it's about to get loud. But before you decide whose side you're on, remember, history has a habit of slapping back harder than any catchy hook. Stick around, because by the end you'll know why 50 Cent, Gucci Mane, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, Eminem, and even Tupac's legacy still own the high ground in 2025's algorithm war.
Hey! You know. Listen, hold up, stop the music. Hold on. Hey, listen, 50 though.
The night was supposed to be a victory lap. Meek Mill had the festival crowd eating out of his hand, the speakers were shaking with New York energy, and everything felt like a homecoming. Then, out of nowhere, Trav, an old G-Unit affiliate, slid on stage for a surprise Southside reunion. To the untrained eye, it was a harmless cameo, but to 50 Cent, it was a violation. In a heartbeat, the vibe flipped. Fifth locked eyes on Trav, stormed over, and with the kind of shove that said, "Don't play with me," he shut it all down. No yelling, no chaos, just cold precision. The DJ cut the beat mid-drop, security fanned out, and Meek's confident smirk disappeared faster than a backstage pass in a sold-out arena. The crowd didn't know if they'd just witnessed beef or business, but they felt the tension like static in the air.
When me and 50 had words, he had certain people reach out to me. When they reached out to me, I didn't respect it because a nigga reached out for 50 telling me to come meet him. I'm like, I ain't never had to speak to none of you niggas a day in my life to have to go speak to 50, for 50 to say, come see me. Like, nah, if 50 want me to come see him, tell him to call me.
Backstage, the whispers turned into headlines. Trav didn't waste a second before telling every camera that 50 had been sending middlemen to reach him, instead of just picking up the phone like a man. In Queens, that's disrespect, and disrespect has consequences. 50's camp clapped back, making it clear loyalty isn't optional and bridges don't burn themselves. Fans dissected the clip frame by frame like it was Zapruder film for hip-hop heads. Was Fifth being a bully? Or was this the cost of protecting his brand? Some said he overreacted. Others said he handled it like a CEO who's seen too many snakes smile. Either way, one thing was crystal clear. In the 50s world, fame never outranks the chain of command. Now fast forward 5 years. Different city, different setting. 50's out in public, just trying to enjoy a quiet date on the sidewalk when out of the shadows comes a new face. An aspiring rapper named NFL Doom. The guy's phone is already recording, nerves bouncing off the sidewalk, voice shaking like a soda can under pressure. Yo, Fifth, I'm crazy about my talent, man. Check out my Instagram. It's the kind of moment that could go viral for the wrong reasons. Fifth pauses. His eyes flick from the man to the camera and back again, calculating the risk. Is this clout chasing or a genuine shot at success? With a sigh that speaks louder than words, he says, "Your approach is wrong, my guy," then keeps it moving before the whole thing flips into a TMZ headline. No meltdown, no drama, just a masterclass in keeping your cool when everybody's watching. Respect denied on stage, clout chased on the sidewalk, and still, legends like 50 keep their cool. But what happens when a mentor's patience runs out under the heat of live video? If 50's brand of discipline feels corporate, Gucci Mane's is pure trap house zen, until someone pokes the bear. In 2020, Gucci went live on Instagram with his protege Ola Runt to preview some unreleased heat. At first, it felt like family. Jokes flying, Atlanta slang curling through the speakers, Gucci even cracking a rare smile. You could feel the respect in the air. Then came the moment that changed everything.
So like, you act like you can't listen. But now it's some music, but you ready to do the music though. And they tell you anything else, you talking about, you tried me earlier, you told the folks what you told me.
Nah, man, we don't
really
lie.
Strong. I really feel tried.
Nah, we ain't gonna do all that on live, man.
Man, nigga Ola gonna tell me, hey, run the business, don't try to run my life. What kind of side you gonna get wrong, man?
No, man, hell nah, I wasn't saying like that.
Ola pressed Gucci on his own live stream for a track they'd left hanging, a song Gucci hadn't cleared. It wasn't just a request, it was a challenge, wrapped in casual talk, and Gucci felt it. The energy shifted instantly, like a bass line that suddenly drops an octave. Gucci's smile vanished, his eyes narrowed, posture stiffened. Bruh, you tried me, he said, calm but surgical. Then, click, stream over. No blow up, no back and forth, just silence. And in Gucci's world, silence is the smoke. At first, social media framed Ola as another casualty of old head gatekeeping, but folks who've been around the game saw something different, a rookie learning the cost of speaking out of turn. You don't question the hand feeding you, especially not live, and definitely not when that hand belongs to someone who built his rep off loyalty and quiet power moves. The fallout was immediate. Momentum, gone. Buzz, dead. That one misstep didn't just lose Ola a cosign, it burned the bridge completely. Gucci never issued a public statement, never subtweeted, never addressed it again. And that silence, it echoed louder than any diss track. Some OGs check you with confrontation, others clown you so hard the memes do the talking. Enter the dog father.
Yeah, so it's always gonna be something new. When a person decides to be themselves, they're offer something no one else can be.
Yeah, because once you be you, who can be you but you?
Right.
That's what's wrong right now. Everybody trying to rap the same style with the, I don't know who created it, if it was Future or Migos, but all them niggas sound the same. I said, nigga had me in the studio one night trying to do that shit. I'm like, man, cut this shit off. What the fuck am I in here doing, nigga? I don't rap like that.
He said, what the fuck you got me doing?
This shit, it's addictive. This shit'll get you. You hear that shit every...
Snoop Dogg's been schooling rookies since Motorola flip phones, but his most effective weapon isn't a diss track, it's comedy. In a 2014 sit-down, he launched into a pitch-perfect parody of the triplet flow Future, and Migos made mainstream, lips fluttering, syllables slurred on purpose, even 50 cracked up beside him. Message received. Originality sells longer than any TikTok glitch beat. Flash to 2023. During the Olympics of viral foolishness, twins known as the Island Boys filmed themselves half-singing in a pool. Snoop and Kevin Hart roasted them on Peacock, riffing till tears rolled. The twins clapped back, calling Uncle Snoop a lightweight. Internet, meet irony. Within days, fan backlash forced a trembling apology. Snoop's an inspiration. Y'all, I was emotional. They were emotional because clout can't cushion a cultural smackdown from a man old enough to be their father. Snoop's critique isn't pure comedy, though. In an October 2024 interview with Stephen A. Smith, he and Dr. Dre dissected the phone-made artist, arguing that virality is hollow without musicianship. The takeaway? A million-view meme can't substitute for skill, no matter how many reels it spawns.
You had to have skill, you had to have professionalism in order to be an artist. Now you just have to have a phone. So it's a big difference when you had to have certain things to be qualified as an artist. Now it's just the phone makes you an artist, and something stupid or something crazy on the internet gets you 5 minutes of fame, and you take that and make a record, and you got a 2.5-minute song that's saying the same thing that somebody else just said. Now you consider it hot, as opposed to it used to be about creativity and understanding of musicianship, you know, harmony, melodies. That don't even matter no more. It's just auto-tune. I want to sound like him. I want to say what she said, but I want to, you know, do the same things, but just in my own way, as opposed to let me be original.
Speaking of Dre, the doctor's consultation on album craft just might be the toughest prescription new artists will swallow. On the same Stephen A. broadcast, Dre leaned forward and dropped a quiet grenade. I don't like 9 producers on one album. Continuity is everything. In an era where beat packs land in inboxes like Uber Eats orders, fast, cheap, and disposable, his words hit like a reminder from a different generation. A time when albums were crafted, not compiled. And Dre's not just talking.
I don't like the fact that there's like 9 different producers on one album. I like the idea of one producer on one album. The continuity is everything.
Yeah, where did that come from? Where did it come from where you got cats that want to be with 9 different producers on one album and stuff like that? When the hell did that start?
I don't know. Right. I don't know, but I don't like it. You know, if you're a producer, you should be able to produce the entire album. That's what I thought it was supposed to be. Right. That's what I was doing at the beginning.
There's a lot of beat makers though, Doc. That's what the difference between your era and this era is, that there aren't too many producers as much as there are beat makers. It's so easy to make beats. They're giving you all these computer packets that has the drum loop, has this, y'all had to make the loop.
I feel like it's a change that's happening right now, you know, from all this mumble rap thing and everything that's happening right now. There's somebody in somebody's garage that's happening right now that's gonna be the next Snoop or Dre or next Prince or Michael Jackson or whatever. that's coming up with something that's gonna change the game. It's gotta happen right now, and it's wide open because everything that's happening right now in the music game is, especially hip hop.
History has receipts. He famously walked away from death row in the mid-90s, frustrated by a machine that prioritized speed and volume over cohesion and quality. He wasn't about to let his sound get diluted in an assembly line. Decades later, that same standard still guides him. Whether he's shaping Kendrick Lamar's cinematic flows or fine-tuning Anderson, Pac's funk-laced rhythms, Dre makes sure every track bleeds into the next like scenes in a film, not songs stitched together by an algorithm. That's the real difference. Dre's projects don't just sound good, they feel intentional. Every snare, every synth line has a purpose. Albums like The Chronic and Good Kid, MAAD, City still get played straight through. No skips, no shuffle. And in today's streaming landscape, where attention spans are short and hits are manufactured like TikTok trends, that kind of longevity is rare. Dre's formula is simple: fewer cooks, richer flavor, and the charts back it up. His approach might not be trendy, but it still works. Because at the end of the day, authenticity has a longer shelf life than hype. If Dre lectures with calm authority, Eminem prefers a flamethrower. 2018 was the year Slim Shady snapped. No teasers, no rollout, just kamikaze dropped out of nowhere like a Molotov cocktail through the front door of hip-hop. From the very first track, The Ringer, M came out swinging with venom aimed squarely at what he called mumble rap. He didn't need to drop full names, just enough breadcrumbs. Lil Yachty, Lil Pump, basically any Lil too lazy to finish a sentence. It wasn't a diss track, it was an execution, and he did it with surgical precision, calling out an entire generation of SoundCloud stars in one breath while demanding they learn the art of lyricism in the next. Twitter caught fire instantly. Genius lit up with line-by-line breakdowns. Rap blogs went into overdrive. Some called it iconic, others called it out of touch. Older fans cheered. Finally, someone had said what they'd been screaming into Reddit threads for years. But younger fans fired back, accusing M of gatekeeping and clinging to a golden era that had already faded. But behind the drama, one stat spoke louder than the arguments. A few months after release, Kamikaze wasn't just surviving, it was dominating. The Ringer, specifically, had a higher repeat rate on Spotify than many of the viral hits it criticized. The same fans who claimed they were over it kept spinning it on loop. Rage clicks? Possibly, but impact? Undeniable. And let's not forget, M didn't just vent. He adapted. Tracks like Lucky You with Joyner Lucas proved he could still hang with younger spitters and push them to sharpen their pens. It wasn't just about calling out the culture, it was about daring it to evolve. Yet no clash cut deeper than the day a sleepy-eyed Xanarchist took aim at rap's most sacred ghost. It was supposed to be just another Revolt interview, promote a mixtape, flash a few tattoos, drop a quirky soundbite to keep the algorithm happy. But then came that moment. Asked to rate Tupac Shakur, Lil Xan squinted into the camera and muttered, 2 out of 10, boring.
What was the Tupac incident?
Something that you said Tupac was boring?
Yeah, but that was back when I was barred out and they would wake me up at 5 a.m. and I was cranky to go to the iHeart radios, you know. And I rated, and I don't feel this way anymore. Tupac is a legend, but I wanted to get the interview over with. The interviewer was annoying, and she just kept speeding it. And she's like, "What do you feel about Tupac?" And I was like, 2 out of 10. And that was like such a big catalyst of hate.
The internet didn't just react, it detonated. By the end of the day, West Coast radio hosts were banning his music from their stations, calling it blasphemy in real time. LA icons took to Instagram to remind everyone that Pac wasn't just a rapper. He was a martyr, a movement, a myth. The backlash snowballed. Xan's yellow Mercedes got keyed. A stranger literally chased him through an Indiana mall, waving a loaded firearm. What started as a flippant remark turned into a safety concern. Later, court documents would frame the incident as battery and intimidation. But in the court of public opinion, Lil Xan had already been sentenced to cultural exile. In the years that followed, the fallout didn't fade, it calcified. Festival offers dried up, collaborators ghosted him, and every new song had to battle not just for attention, but against the specter of a legacy he publicly disrespected. He didn't just alienate older fans, he lost trust across both sides of the aisle. Even younger artists who usually ride the wave of controversy kept their distance. 5 years later, with new clarity and hard-earned sobriety, Lil Xan sat down with Vlad TV and tried to explain. It was 5 a.m., I was barred out, cranky, he said, trying to play it off as a bad mood blur. And maybe it was. But the problem wasn't just what he said, it was who he said it about. Tupac isn't just a name, he's a cultural cornerstone. And in hip-hop, some icons are bigger than any trend. When you take a swing at a ghost that powerful, even surviving the moment doesn't mean you're walking away clean. For Xan, that one sentence became a lifelong echo, stamped across every comment section, every interview, every stage he wasn't invited to. One reckless moment, lifetime rent-free backlash. So where does hip-hop stand after a decade decade of generational firefights? The answer is bending in a surprising direction. Here's the twist. The old guard isn't retiring, they're evolving. Instead of fading into legacy playlists or cashing out on nostalgia tours, hip-hop's architects are flipping the game on its head. In April 2025, Time 100 honored Snoop Dogg, not just for his music catalog, but for something far more visionary, resurrecting Death Row Records as a next-gen media incubator. This isn't your uncle's record label. Under Snoop, Death Row now signs podcasters, VR storytellers, young battle rappers with 500 followers, and TikTok creators who blend spoken word with street gospel. He's not just curating talent, he's building a future pipeline rooted in experience but wired for the now. One moment, he's in the studio dropping bars with a Gen Z trap artist. The next, he's executive producing a cannabis-infused cooking show. It's not retirement, it's reinvention. Meanwhile, Dr. Dre is playing chess with the culture, not checkers. Word quietly leaked that he's been producing a concept album for a 19-year-old Compton lyricist who refuses to use autotune and insists on recording to reel tape. It sounds insane in a world dominated by digital plugins and AI beat generators, but that analog grit is hitting different, raw, textured, imperfect. In a way, it's becoming the new flex, real emotion over robotic polish. And guess what? The numbers agree. Spotify's data scientists recently dropped a report showing that songs featuring an OG cosign retain 35% more listeners past the 30-second mark, a massive margin in the land of skip buttons and dopamine-driven scroll culture. TikTok's For You feed has also started favoring authenticity tags over flashy edits or rented luxury props. Clips with story-driven captions, especially those involving mentorship, legacy, or vulnerability, are outperforming traditional flex content across the board. The message is loud and clear. Attention spans aren't dying. They're just becoming allergic to fluff. Audiences today aren't just consuming, they're curating. They've heard the algorithms loop 1,000 times. What they crave now is something rooted, something real. Whether it's Snoop tapping into storytelling or Dre resurrecting analog warmth, the OGs aren't just surviving, they're setting the tone for what comes next. And this time, it's not about gatekeeping, it's about guidance. And maybe that's the twist no one saw coming. The very legends accused of holding the door closed are now the ones keeping it open, just wide enough for those who respect the craft to step through. Across every clash, fist bumps, or verbal flamethrowers, the scoreboard stays the same. Respect plus originality equals longevity. When 50 shoves a hometown acquaintance off stage, he's guarding more than ego. He's guarding a blueprint. When Gucci drops a mentee midstream, it's not just about attitude, it's a warning. Impatience kills careers. Snoop's laughter, Dre's precision, M's fury, they're all symptoms of the same truth. Hip-hop is a massive house with 1,000 rooms, but you still need permission to live in it. And that permission isn't granted through followers, streams, or viral moments. It's earned through substance, consistency, and respect for the foundation. Because while trends come and go, the ones who truly last, the ones still shaping the game decades later, aren't clout chasing. They're gatekeeping something sacred. So what do you think? Are the OGs protecting the culture or just resisting change? Drop your take in the comments, hit that like button if you made it this far, and don't forget to subscribe for more unfiltered stories from behind the industry curtain. I'll catch you in the next one.